Okay, welcome. It's great to have you guys here today. We're going to do, again, it's morning and I'm just sitting in here. It's kind of early. We're going to do the Bug or Boog River scenario, which we got briefed on last time. And this is going to be really cool because what we're going to do is we're going to play with General Erwin Von Butcherstein. Now, as you know, Fedor has already moved up to take Warsaw, or the outskirts of Warsaw. Warsaw lies here. That was from the west. I'm going to attack from the east. I'm going to attack and nail down Warsaw. And I'm also destined to move along and take Moldava down here as an objective to prevent the Poles from reestablishing a second defensive line behind Warsaw. So what I'm going to have to do is upgrade and improve my troops, deploy them properly, and get to work. Okay, so what I'm going to start with is I'm going to start with my recon unit, and I'm going to select him from the infantry or from the units list, and I'm going to go for an upgrade on this. Now, the options here to upgrade is the SDKFZ 230. I've got a 222. This is the 231 Rad with a radio. It doesn't really have too many advantages. It's actually got some disadvantages. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually not going to upgrade the unit. What I'm going to do is simply overstrength it, because if you notice, I have one little star here, meaning I've got one full experience point. So I can overstrength this from 10 to 11, and it doesn't cost me any extra unit slots. So I'm going to put that sucker in, and I'm going to place him right here to basically scout ahead of what I may encounter as I try to sweep around. The strategy for me here is going to be to sweep my panzers around through and take Brest and Moldava, but I'm going to try to cut across the river here. So in order to do that, I'm going to need a bridge engineer. So I'm going to purchase a bridge engineer, a Brucken Pioneer, and I'm going to purchase an Opel truck for him, and I'm going to add him to the basket. I also am going to buy a cavalry unit, because cavalry units were very common in Poland at this time with the German army. So I'm going to purchase, I screwed that up. I'm going to put the bridge engineer right here, and I'm going to purchase the cavalry unit. I didn't buy him after all. And also stick him right here. Now his job is going to be to go over here and take this small town objective, Bialystok, and the rest of the infantry and stuff are going to have to fight their way through. Now, task number one is going to be to take this airfield outside of Warsaw to eliminate the Polish Air Force. I'm going to need my best unit there, my Pioneer unit, so I'm going to place him right here so he can advance. And I'm also going to upgrade one of my regular Wehrmacht infantry units to a grenadier. Now, if you notice in the upgrade, I've now got the option for a grenadier unit. That is a mobile heavy infantry unit, and I'm going to equip him with a truck. So those guys are going to be able to get around. That's going to increase my hard attack, tank attack from a factor of 7 to 9, and all sorts of other close defense stuff will allow me to upgrade that. And I'm going to place him here as well. So these guys are going to be used to hit hard at Warsaw to the south. In order to support that, I'm going to have to increase the power of my artillery pieces. I've got a couple of pieces here. This is 7.5 millimeter gun, 75 millimeter cannon, but it's only got a 12 soft attack and an 8 tank attack. I could do better than that. I'm going to go all the way with the 21 centimeter MRS-18. I'm going to give it a truck, and I'm going to upgrade that and place it here as well. It's going to be, well, actually, I'm going to put it here because that artillery piece is more effective against tanks, whereas the smaller ones are more effective against infantry. So let me see if I can upgrade this smaller infantry gun. It's a 16-14 in terms of the soft attack and tank attack values. I'm going to see if I can increase that. Yeah, I can go with the 15 centimeter SFH-18 and a truck for that guy. And I'm going to purchase him. And so now I've got 2 major infantry units and a artillery piece ready to attack Warsaw from the north. But I'm going to have to cross a couple of rivers, so this thank you. this guy is going to come in handy. As a matter of fact, let me kill that. That's my Telegram channel, guys, and it has a bad habit of interrupting right when I'm in the middle of stuff. So I'm going to go to my Telegram channel and shut it down for the better part of a hour. Okay. So I'm going to have to use these guys to cross over here. There's probably going to be an anti-aircraft unit here that I'm going to have to take out. It's going to be a little bit complicated, but as things stand now, it's looking pretty good. All right. I have a regular Wehrmacht infantry unit. I'm going to put him here. He's also going to be used to take on this particular objective of Bialystok, and then they're going to try to sweep around and take Brest from the north. But I'm going to have to improve my Panzers because I've got very, very weak Panzers here. I've got a couple with experience. My Panzer 1B and one of my Panzer 2C units have experience. This is my most experienced unit, so I'm going to upgrade him to a strongest tank unit I can find. And oh, look, my relationship with High Command and my industry connections have given me a prototype. That prototype is a Panzer 3G, which is a very advanced unit. Look at these improvements. 12 soft attack versus 16 tank attack. I'm going to go ahead and buy that. I'm going to upgrade, and I'm going to place that sucker right here where he can streak across the plains. All right. The other unit I have that's got a lot of experience is my Panzer 2C. He's got almost a full star there, and I'm going to upgrade him, although I could go with a Panzer 3G. I want to keep some of these units. Here's the thing. I got 20 Panzer 3Gs. That's all of them I'm going to get. That means if I take damage to my Panzer 3C and I have to hit replacements, they're going to come out of this pool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upgrade the Panzer 2C to a Panzer 35 Czech tank, Panzer 35T. I'm going to upgrade that, and I'm going to place him here. So I'm, again, remember, my thinking is one light tank, one medium tank, one heavy tank, and an anti-tank piece. That's what I'm looking for in designing my perfect Panzer division. So the Panzer 35 T has been put out there. I've got a couple medium tanks now that can streak across the ground and take on other tanks and so forth. Now the Panzer 2C, he's going to stay here. I'm going to put him on the flank, and my Panzer 1B is also going to be relatively effective. I'm going to put him right there. So I'm grouping all my Panzers together, but I'm also going to need, I don't have an anti-aircraft unit and I don't have an anti-tank unit yet, so I'm going to buy those. I'm going to purchase my anti-aircraft. It's going to be an 88mm gun, which can be used either as an anti-tank or an anti-aircraft weapon. And I'm going to put him to go along with my artillery and my Panzers. So they're gonna look good. Notice how nice and clean my Panzers are. That nice German gray color. They're going to get a little beat up as time goes by, but this is still early in the campaign. This unit right here, this Panzer 3G is going to come in really, really valuable. There's a lot of anti-armor firepower here, but I still need to buy an anti-tank gun, so I'm going to go ahead and get this little pussy-ass 37mm anti-tank gun, and I'm going to equip him with a wagon, because there were actually a lot of horse and buggies pulling anti-tank guns at that time back in the day. Unfortunately, I have to place him back here. It's the only place I can do it, and we're going to look at improving them a little bit. My two fighters, I've only got 3 planes here. I've got my 2 Bf-109s. I'm going to place them. Really, there's only one airbase. I'm going to place them here to fight off the enemy. And again, their orders are to take this airbase and knock out the Polish Air Force. And I've got my Ju-87B. I'm going to place him here, but I'm short a couple of aircraft. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy a strategic bomber, and I'm going to buy the HE-111. That's the better of the 2 models that are out there. I'm going to purchase him and place him. And this is basically a heavy bomber that produces suppression. In other words, it beats down the morale of the enemy and makes them easier to conquer. And I'm also going to purchase a BF-110C. Now, this is listed as a tactical bomber, but it's actually a fighter bomber. It can also fight aircraft. And I'm going to pick up one of those and place him here. And I am going to go with a recon aircraft. They're extremely cheap. An F-1 156 Storch. I'm going to buy one of those so he can scout out what's ahead and show me where I'm going and who I'm fighting. Now, what else do I want to do here to finish this off? I would like to add some more infantry. I've got a couple of mechanized infantries. I've got the Grenadiers and the Pioneers. They're both mechanized, but I need some plain old foot soldiers to do the marching, so I'm going to go into the foot soldiers and I'm going to buy another Wehrmacht infantry, and I'm going to place him right here to help with the attack on Warsaw. So I think I'm pretty well set. My Panzer division is pretty much equipped out. It's tripped out. It's got recon aircraft. It's got fighters. It's got fighter bombers. It's got bombers, and it's got heavy strategic bombers. Everything is really under my command at this point for me to obtain my objectives. Now, one thing that hasn't been done yet is I received some heroes after my last battle. These are guys who distinguish themselves in battle and have special capabilities, and you get at least one of those after every mission that you declare victory. So a couple of them I think are pretty interesting are Fast Learner and Lethal Attack. So Fast Learner I would like to apply to my fighters because I need a couple of fighter aces. So what I do is I simply click on the fighter unit and I hit the Assign Hero and I go look at my list of heroes. Well, there's Christian Kruger. He's a Fast Learner, and he will go to that fighter aircraft, and I click on the other BF-109, and I'm also going to do a Fast Learner. Now what this does with Reinhold Haas is it means that they gain experience a lot faster than they would otherwise gain them. Now, strategic bombers are kind of useless in terms of all they do is suppress. They don't actually kill the enemy. If you look at, they just do destroy entrenchment, meaning if somebody's deeply entrenched, you can kind of bomb them out of that. It also destroys target supplies like fuel and ammo when it attacks, and it does suppressing fire. But if you add Lethal Attack hero to that unit, the Lethal Attack hero, Rolf Meyer, what it will do is it will convert the suppression into kills. In other words, if it hits you with a 2 suppression, it's also going to kill 2 units. So it becomes much more valuable. Now the one hero I have left is Aggressive Counterattack, and I can't decide whether I want to assign that to my Pioneer unit or whether I want to assign that to my Grenadier. What is Aggressive Counterattack do? Well, Aggressive Counterattack gives you a +3 rating when defending, which is a kind of a handy thing to have. This guy, actually, my Grenadier, has more experience than my Pioneer. However, I want to increase the special capabilities of my Pioneer if I possibly can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign the Aggressive Counterattack to the Pioneer unit. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make some changes in terms of uniforms and camouflage. My Grenadier has a uniform that doesn't really look any different. If you look at him, he doesn't really look any different than regular army, and he has much heavier weaponry. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change his camouflage look so that I can more easily distinguish just who he is and what he does. Notice when you get into the German camouflage, there's all these different patterns. They're all very, very similar. They're basically the same. I could go with a light green, which would be kind of an interesting camouflage, or I could go with a deep brown. I think I'm going to go with the light brown camouflage to distinguish my Grenadier units. That way they're just easier to spot. Okay, I've now got everything deployed. I'm ready for this battle. I have a solid air force behind me. I have my Panzers, and I have my little boys. There's a joke from the movie The Battle of the Bulge where Robert Shaw plays a German commander, and it's an old joke between me and my brother having to do with Panzers and little boys. However, we're not going to do that here. So, we're ready to go. I'm going to end the deployment phase by hitting the little hourglass button up here, and it's going to maybe give me a warning. It says you have some unused core slots, which could be used to purchase more units for the oncoming battle. Are you sure you want to end the deployment phase now? And the answer is yeah. I don't have anything more to add. I've got overwhelming force. I'm going to say yes. All right, so General Erwin von Butcherstein, I'm ready to go. And right away, my recon comes in. And what I can see is that I've got some cavalry units and some infantry units just basically sitting out in the middle of nowhere, very vulnerable to attack, that I'm going to have to deal with before I can advance along here and cross the river and take Sildisi, followed by the ultimate goal of Voldava and, of course, Brest. Meantime, down here, I've got to hold this airfield if I possibly can. And that's going to be kind of a difficult thing. Also, that's an understrength unit. I'm going to basically increase the strength of these units to where they ought to be. Let me spell strength right. And they can basically hopefully hold up a little better against Polish counter attacks. Okay, so my objective is basically to hold this airfield if I can with an anti-tank unit and a single infantry unit. Take the Warsaw Air Base, knock out the Polish Air Force, take Warsaw from the east. This is the eastern portion of Warsaw. The western portion, which my twin brother, Fader von Butcherstein, took in the last video, is over here to the west. And then I need to advance my panzers and take all these other major objectives before the Polish can establish a second defensive line. Now, this is where things are going to come in handy. I've got this recon aircraft that I bought, this Storch. I'm going to fly him right over here, and I'm going to accidentally run into the Polish Air Force. And they shoot me, they hurt me. I'm going to use my Bf-109s on them. Try to knock them out of Zvor. And didn't have a lot of luck against those wuss-ass Polish biplane type things. I'm going to have to use all three of my fighters, my two light fighters and my heavy fighter, and I may lose my Storch. It's really not going to be good. But what I can do is I can use my heavy bomber to bomb this Polish infantry unit just outside of Warsaw. It's going to take some anti-aircraft fire, but he's also going to knock out one kill and one suppression. What town is this? This is Wizkazo. Okay, great, Wizkazo. And I've got my Stuka, which is more effective against tanks out in the open and stuff like that. But I'm going to focus on this first. All right, first things first. I'm going to move my Pioneer infantry forward, and I'm going to move my Grenadier infantry forward. Did I not change their uniforms? Yeah, I failed to pick. I did pick their uniforms, but I did not. Did I not do that? I thought I did that. All right, they're changed now. He can't attack, but the Pioneer can. But I can move my artillery piece forward, fire to again suppress or even kill some of the enemy. And then I can use my Pioneer to attack. And wow, lo and behold, they do very, very well. I'm going to move my other infantry for... Oh yeah, I accidentally colored the infantry, the Grenadier color. I'm going to go back to a standard German infantry, Wehrmacht infantry. Which colored green-gray do we like? We like that one. And then I'm going to move my anti-tank gun forward. I could take this town, but counterattacks, I'll just lose my anti-tank gun, so I'm going to move it over here, and it's going to remain undeployed. Okay, I now have these two Polish infantry units, a regular Polish infantry and a Polish cavalry. Out of the two, the cavalry is the more dangerous, so I'm going to use my Stuka to attack the cavalry from above. Death from above. It's going to hit him. He's going to knock him down just 2 times. Not very effective, but I can also use my artillery on him to soften him up a little bit more. That big Merce's artillery. And then I'm going to use my Wehrmacht infantry and my Panzer I to try to knock him off his rocker. So he retreats, which is fine. And I'm going to use my own cavalry to knock out that Polish cavalry. Now, these units are going to advance then over here in a minute on Bialystok, but right now they're not doing that. I'm going to use my Bridger engineering to come over here and open the way for units to cross the river and get in at Warsaw in a minute. I'm going to use my Panzer II to... I could swing it out here to defend in front of those guys, but I think I'm going to use them instead to attack this Polish infantry out in the open, which again, this is about right. This 50% strength loss to a Panzer II against infantry just standing out in the middle of the field. It's about right. However, I only got a -6 on that. I got 6 kills, but I'm going to advance my Panzer 35, which is more effective and should do more damage. He only knocked him down by 3. Let me see if I can finish him off with this wonderful Panzer 3 unit I got from my friends back at High Command. I can't. He's very tough, but I'm going to use my armored car to knock that sucker out. And then I'm going to move him a little bit forward just to sort of get a preview of what's going on near the town of Seldisi. Okay, so I want to move my artillery forward where it's protected, not super vulnerable, and I'm going to move my anti-aircraft gun forward. I'm going to move him over here where he will be able to defend against any tank counterattacks that might come from the Seldisi area. Okay, so that's a pretty successful first turn. I don't have a lot more to add to that, and the Polish Air Force is tougher than I expected, and the Polish infantry was a lot tougher to knock out than I expected, especially against my Panzers, but with my recon unit out front, nobody's really going to approach me in the valley between these two rivers. There's a forest here I have to concern myself with, but I'm pretty well set up, I think, for what's going to happen in the counterattack. Now, how are the Poles going to counterattack me? They're going to send a lot of infantry, so I got to be prepared for that. All right, let's go ahead and hit the end turn and see what the Poles do. Well, first thing they do is use an armored car to attack my infantry at the special air base. Their Air Force tries to attack my Bridger and does a pretty good job, gets shot at, but my anti-aircraft unit doesn't really do much. Their infantry steps forward to attack my Pioneer. That's not very comfortable. All right, let's get rid of this Polish Air Force. I'm going to use this anti-tank gun, the 88, to do some damage to this Polish P-11C. And then hopefully I'll be able to kill this guy with my 2 fighters. It's good if you can get kills with just your fighter squadrons, because that way you don't have to use the 110C, which is a very versatile aircraft. Unfortunately, it's not going to go that way for me, so I'm going to have to use all 3 of my attacking fighters, my 2 light fighters and my heavy fighter, to destroy that Polish aircraft, but it is finally done. Okay, now we're in a situation where we have Polish infantry. They've moved up to Wiskowskow, and I'm going to soften them up with some artillery fire, which is only going to do 3 suppression. If I use the strategic bomber, I will have some success. It looks like I'm going to take a 3 suppression on my bomber, but I'm going to do a 1 kill, get a 1 kill out of it, knock him down to 11. That should make him more vulnerable. It does do that successfully. Now I'm going to use my Grenadier unit to knock those Polish guys out of there, and I'm going to bring my regular infantry in. This is very tempting. I could take out this anti-aircraft, but it's also, I could really almost knock out this Polish infantry. I'm going to do that instead, and hope that my engineers can finish them off, although I don't hold out a lot of hope. Nope. I'm going to have to bring my Pioneer forward And I'm leaving him vulnerable, but I want to wipe that unit out. I'm leaving him vulnerable to counterattacks. I really hope I don't use the Pioneers. I'm going to move my artillery forward. And now I've still got my Stuka. So what to do with my Stuka? Do I fly him over here? Do I attack this infantry and deep in the back? Do I use him to support? Do I use him to support the attacks over here on Soliswe? Whatever that town is, I can't pronounce the names. Or do I weaken the anti-aircraft or the infantry further? I think I'm going to use it to weaken the infantry further because I want to make sure that these pioneers survive. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I have a chance to reinforce my scouting unit. Okay, I forgot I had to undo that. I moved my artillery forward. And I'm going to take my anti-tank gun, my 37 millimeter, and I'm going to move him here. In case there is a hidden tank here that wants to attack my Pioneer, I'll at least be able to get some counter battery fire, I hope. Okay, having wiped out the infantry that was here, I'm now going to use my cavalry to go on and attack this town here, which is Solwise, right? And it turns out to be an anti-tank gun, so I'm going to hit him with my cavalry. I do 5 kills, which is really good for an inexperienced unit. I'm going to move my infantry there, and I'm going to move my Panzer 1B to jump in on the attack. Normally, a tank attacking an anti-tank gun would be disastrous, but this is a weak anti-tank gun, and I was able to knock him down to within a hair's breadth of his life. And it looks like the target of Bialystok is going to be mine very soon. Meantime, I'm going to move my other units forward and try to encircle and destroy this Polish cavalry, or this Polish infantry, who are operating just outside this forested area. And basically this just protects my flank in case of an attack from the Brest area, and I do mean that like literally the Brest area. Okay, I'm gonna move this artillery piece forward. I'm gonna hit that infantry to weaken them. So in case they march up here and try to attack my anti-tank gun, they're a little bit suppressed, a little bit damaged. That, I think, is going to be the end of turn 1. Oh, now I can actually move my anti-aircraft, my 88. I'd forgotten that. I'm going to move him up here and deploy him to protect that Pioneer infantry a little bit better. I've also got a very vulnerable Grenadier unit here trying to cross a river. If they get hit, if this Polish infantry comes out of Warsaw and hits them, they could do a lot of damage to them. But I think this infantry is pretty well entrenched. 6 out of 10 entrenchment. That's pretty good. So I think that is it. I believe I've moved all my units. Well, I've got these guys down here. Okay, so let's move this 37 millimeter gun forward. Overstrength. Hit that armored car. Knocks them out. And do I want to advance that infantry, or do I want to just go? I'm going to go back in and try to hold this airfield. So that's an important objective of mine, and I have done pretty well the first turn. All right, let's hit the end. The anti-aircraft fire. The Poles try to attack my Panzer II. The infantry attacks my anti-tank gun. The Polish infantry attacks my 88. And nobody... I got a feeling. I think there's some tanks in here somewhere. Some Polish tanks. But so far they haven't shown themselves. And I want to be ready for them. Alright, first things first. Let's move my Grenadier infantry over there a little bit. Let's use the artillery to soften them up. Let's use the Grenadier. It should be a 0 loss against 5 kills. That's pretty darn good. Then I'm going to move my regular infantry in here and finish off that anti-tank unit. Oh, that's gotta hurt. That's gonna leave a mark. And then my pioneer unit I'm going to use to destroy that Polish infantry. I'm tempted to move him up here, but he's not really well protected. I'm going to move my artillery piece up there, and I'm going to reinforce my 88. Ooh, whoops, you know what? I want to undo that. I want to change it to an anti-tank configuration first and then reinforce it, and I'm going to move my 37 millimeter forward so it can take the brunt of any tank attacks. And I'm going to reinforce, do I want to reinforce this Bridger unit, or do I want to move him down? He's not really useful in combat. I'm going to move him down the river a little bit. Oh, there's my first, there it is. There's my tank now spotted. So can I hit that guy? No, I can't. But I'm going to hit that infantry. And I'm going to see, can my Stuka reach that tank? Yes, he can. All right, I'm going to weaken this tank unit. This Polish, the 14th 7 TPJW. I'm going to hit him. It should be a 3 kill. And I'm going to bring my Stuka, or not my Stuka, but my BF-109 down to protect that particular aircraft. And then I'm going to rebase my other aircraft here, my BF-110C. I'm going to rebase them to this advanced airfield I just captured. And my other, I'm going to just reinforce that. And then my dive bomber, or not my dive bomber, my big strategic heavy bomber. And my recon plane, I'm going to move to that new base. So, again, you know, I stand pretty solid well here. I need to wipe out this particular anti-tank unit. Now that I've done that, I'm going to take this infantry and I'm going to move him back and march him back this way. But I'm going to let the Panzer I and the cavalry sweep around this river and attack Brest from behind. Meantime, I'm going to stop the advance here. It looks like I can cross the river because of my capabilities as a Panzer General, a Master of Blitzkrieg. I'm going to move my Panzer II and my Panzer III across the river, and I'm going to attack this artillery from behind. And my Panzer 35T is also going to join in this little fight and hit the artillery piece. The armored car recon scout is going to have to just advance here. Notice there's an anti-tank on here. We're going to have to deal with this stuff in a minute. I just think, gosh, do I want to backtrack with this guy, or am I going to make him advance? I think I'm going to have to, they're going to have to join this group because this is going to be tough to take Brest. All right, that appears to be the end of it. Except for I've got this infantry here to deal with. I'm going to deal with him. -6 on the attack. I'm going to hit him again, my 37 millimeter, and move him back to the airfield. And hopefully they can survive long enough for the relief to get there. Okay, so the eastern part of Warsaw lays naked before me. There's just one unit between me and victory there. And I've got my anti-tank units in place. But look, the reality is that this infantry is probably going to attack this anti-tank gun, which is going to weaken it fairly dramatically. So, got to focus on these two objectives. Eastern Warsaw and Seldisi are my next two targets. Let's see what everybody wants to do. What should I do with this Pioneer? I'm going to set him up down here so that Warsaw is effectively surrounded. Okay, let's end this turn and see what the Poles are going to do in terms of counterattack. I expect this Polish infantry unit to attack my anti-tank gun, and I don't know what the tank is going to do. We'll have to wait and see. I know that the artillery and the infantry are going to continue to attack my airfield there, so let's see what happens. Oh, defensive fire for my artillery. They use the artillery against my anti-tank gun. Oh, out of nowhere comes Polish infantry. You know what I noticed? It seems like the enemy's infantry can march way farther than mine can. And my anti-tank gun got completely destroyed. That's great. Infantry attacking the airport. Oh, you've made a crucial mistake, Mr. Tank. Okay, so this Polish 7 TPJW is now within range of my 88. And I'm going to blast him with my anti-tank gun. With my 88 converted to an anti-tank gun. He did damage my Pioneers. I'm going to reinforce them. And then you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use my BF-110C to finish you off, you mofo. Okay, I'm going to use the artillery here to blast that infantry, which did so much damage to my 37mm anti-tank gun. And I'm going to have to buy a new 37mm anti-tank gun. This time I'm going to upgrade him to a truck, an Opel Blitz, instead of a horse and buggy. And I'm going to put him right there. So I've got a new anti-tank gun to replace the one I lost. I'm going to use this recon plane, which cannot attack, to see what's back here. Looks like I'm in reasonable shape with defending the airport. I'm going to attack the infantry there with my 37mm auxiliary. These are auxiliary units, but I'm going to use them to attack. And I could relocate some of my planes down there. I could relocate that. I'm going to rebase one of my fighters down there. Now, the main objective is Warsaw. The Pioneer unit is out of action on this one, but the other units are still good. The Grenadier and the regular infantry. And I'm going to use this strategic bomber to soften that sucker up. I should really protect this 88 also. I should move them back. So I'm going to bring my Grenadier down, and I'm going to bring my regular infantry down. I'm going to reinforce my Bridger. And then I'm going to use my Panzers. Well, I could take this airfield, or I could attack this infantry from behind. I'm going to use this airfield. We're going to get rid of this artillery piece and get rid of it, and we're going to take Seldice. My Panzer II is going to come up and lay some hurt on that artillery piece. And then I'm going to take Seldice with my Panzer 35T. Okay, so that's good stuff. I'm going to move this sucker over here. And the recon car is just going to kind of recon. Yeah, it's not bad. And I'm going to advance my Panzer I and my cavalry, and I'm going to force march this infantry. But I'm going to have to wait. We're going to have to wait for the infantry to catch up to take on this anti-tank unit. So, again, we're reasonably well positioned. Got some issues. Want to make sure that infantry unit doesn't escape. This artillery piece could take a hit. There's no question about that. But luckily, I do still have a Stuka bomber to do some damage to that sucker. And I have this BF-109 to do some strafing. So hopefully this weakens the Polish infantry. Warsaw is tough. It's going to be a tough nut to crack. I'm going to need all three of these infantry units. Plus maybe both my artillery pieces. It's a tougher nut to crack than I thought. All right. That's the end of that turn. The Poles use the artillery first. Ooh, they hit my 35T pretty hard. They're attacking my Pioneer Infantry again, taking a beating. Polish infantry is attacking the airbase. They're attacking my Grenadier. I just gotta soften up. I gotta soften these guys up. There's no way around it. Going to hit that use that artillery, the big artillery, to hit these guys. The Polish infantry. I'm gonna use my Stuka on that Polish infantry. You're out in the open. I'm gonna fucking hurt you. Before I can turn my attention to Warsaw, I'm going to have to deal with this. I'm going to reinforce my Grenadiers. And can I actually do this? I'm going to upgrade my 88. This is just tough. This is a tough situation. And I'm going to use my heavy bomber. My Panzer II is going to come in and hit that Polish infantry hard. You notice the Panzer II seems to be more effective against the infantry than even the Panzer III. Ooh, I have an overrun, so I was able to successfully knock him out, but I have an overrun attack where I can attack this infantry from behind. He's now encircled. Things are going to get tough for you, buddy. Alright, I'm going to reassign this recon plane to this airbase that I just captured. I'm going to reinforce my 35T. Again, you can only reinforce about halfway. So it was down to 3 out of 15. He's now back up to 8. I'm going to move my anti-tank gun forward. And I'm going to use my BF-110C to attack this infantry. These guys counterattacking from behind have been a real pain in the butt. And I'm going to move my BF-110, or my BF-109. Whoops. Wrong button. I'm going to move him to this airbase here. Alright, let's get the German infantry, the Wehrmacht, up. Let's scout around a little bit. Okay, doesn't look too bad. No real support units there. Put my tank up in this forest. Use my cavalry to attack there. And we'll just wait for this Wehrmacht unit to get here. I could use some artillery, but I don't hold out a lot of hope of that happening because it's all going to be used here to take Warsaw. Alright, top priorities for next turn are to get rid of this infantry unit and then take Warsaw and move on from there. Meantime, I'm going to try to get rid of that annoying Polish infantry unit without a lot of success. I'm going to leave that guy there. Maybe attack him. Maybe attack him there. Yeah. Alright, so we're closing in. This Polish infantry unit is now pinned. Pinned, I say, against this swamp. So, situation is improving, but it's still not good. And I think that is all the movement I have, need, or want. Yeah, I'm going to move him so he's in contact with that infantry unit. Alright, that's going to be it. Turn number 6 is coming next. Polish artillery hits, infantry foolishly tries to attack my Panzer and my other infantry. And it is now Erwin Von Butcherstein's turn number 6. Let me attack that artillery unit. I'll move my 37mm there. I'll attack that artillery unit with that infantry, and I start to move forward. This infantry unit Well, you know, maybe this 37 millimeter can finish him off. Let's wait and see. Nope, no good. Maybe the Bridger unit can finish him off, yes. That way I don't have to use them in the attacks and I can focus these troops solely on the destruction of Warsaw. Okay. Gonna move forward this big heavy artillery piece. I'm gonna hit the Warsaw guys. I got 1 kill and 2 suppressions. I'm gonna use my smaller artillery piece. I didn't get any kills, but I got a suppression. Going to use my heavy bomber. I got 1 kill. He's down to 8. I'm going to move my grenadiers over here where they're going to attack. And I'm going to use my pioneer unit to hopefully finish off. That was actually the BF-110C. I didn't use the heavy bomber. Dumb. Okay, I'm going to move the heavy bomber over here to this new airbase. I'm going to use this BF-109 to try to finish off that anti-tank weapon, which it is working. And I'm going to move my artillery toward Seldice. What am I going to do here? Okay, I'm going to sweep this Panzer around. I'm going to once again reinforce the 35T. I'm going to reinforce my Panzer 3G. Remember, I just used 3 of my strength. So I only have so many units in reserve there. All of my infantry are done. I'm going to move my artillery pieces more towards the new front. And I'm going to use this recon plane to see what's back here. Oh, a couple of tanks. A couple of tanks are there, so. All right, once again, I can use a forced march. I can only use it every other turn, but I'm going to move this infantry unit here. I'm going to attack with my cavalry on that anti-tank gun. Try to hold that bridge. I'm going to move my Stuka to this new airbase near Seldice. Going to attack with my Panzer 1 on the anti-tank weapon, and I'm going to try to finish him off with my recon armored car. Ooh, did it. Good job. Okay, so now I've got a good situation here setting up around the town of Brest. I should be able to take that without too much trouble. This Panzer II may be in some trouble. There's a cavalry unit, 2 tanks, and an infantry unit. So hopefully he's going to retreat the hell out of here. I probably made a mistake in advancing him too quickly. You get cocky, you know, start to have some success, and you get cocky. But the front is diminishing for the Poles, and it is improving for me. So let's end this turn, go to turn 7. Oh, luckily for me, the cavalry counterattacked my cavalry. Polish tank is going to hit my Panzer II. It's gained a star. He's gained his first star of experience, so that wasn't too bad. Could have been a lot worse. I'm going to use the Panzer I to attack the very vulnerable Polish cavalry on the bridge, and I'm going to use my Panzer 35 to finish him off. Now, I've got an overrun attack on the Panzer 35. I'm going to first soften him up with a Stuka, knock him down, get 3 kills, and then use the Panzer 35 to eliminate him the rest of the way. All right, I could just go for the final objective here, but I think instead I'm going to reinforce the Panzer II. I'm going to bring forward my anti-tank weapons, get them ready to go after that tank near Moldova. I'm going to deploy my artillery close to the target. I'm going to advance my troops. Leave that back there to guard the airfield, and then I'm going to move my Panzer III, my other artillery piece, my bridge engineer, and my heavy-duty infantry to get ready to take my final objectives. All right, the Panzer 110C. Can I move him over here to this airbase? Yep, there's enough room. I'm going to take the recon plane and move him back down to this airbase. And then I'm going to reinforce that Messerschmitt ME-109. And I'm going to use my heavy bomber to heavily bomb the troops that are guarding Brest. Now, it's tempting to attack, but I'm going to reinforce these guys up to full strength and leave it at that. Hopefully these two Panzers will keep this tank from getting too rambunctious and coming out and attacking. We shall see. I'm just going to strafe him just to piss him off a little bit. Okay, knocked. I had one kill. Okay, so there's really only 3 Polish units left on the board. I'm about to win here. Alright, Erwin Von Butcherstein gets his reinforcement. Okay, I want to use the heavy bomber to hit these hit these Polish soldiers in the town of Koch. One kill, 1 suppression. I'm going to move this artillery forward to get more suppression going. Suppress that bitch. I'm going to attack him with this infantry. And I'm going to cut him off and encircle him with this Panzer II. Ooh, this is so tempting. I'm going to move that infantry forward to take the town. I'm going to move the Panzer III around. He's pinned up against this swamp. I should be able to wipe him out with my advanced Panzer III, but I don't get close. However, I can still hit him with my Bf-110C bomber. Doesn't quite wipe him out. Bummer. Alright, I'm going to move my Pioneer and my Grenadier forward. Could my Panzer... Yeah, my Panzer 1 can reach this 12th Polish Mountain Infantry and knock him out. Going to reinforce that anti-tank gun. Going to put this 88 into anti-tank mode. Going to reinforce my Stuka. And annoy the hell out of that those troops at Brest. Okay. I'm not quite ready to move on Brest yet, so... Although I do have some force there. Alright, that's going to be the end of this turn. We're going to go to turn 9. Oop, the tank came out, decided to take on my 88. Boy, did he pay for that. That's gotta hurt, Mr. Tanker. I'm going to use my Stuka to heavily damage you. And then, I'm going to try to take you out with my 37mm and get him some experience. Ooh, it worked. Great. Okay, I'm going to just use my Panzer 35 to take Moldova. Now all I have is Brest left to take. Okay, I'm going to move my Bridger up here, make it easier to get across. I'm going to reinforce my troops, my Grenadier and my Pioneer. I'm going to move my other troops around, and I'm going to soften you up with my big heavy bomber. artillery pieces into place. So it's only a matter of time now. It's only a matter of time. This is interesting. One of the things you can do is if you have a supply hex, theoretically, you can do an upgrade on a vehicle or a troops inside of a supply hex. The supply hex are these round hexes. So what I should be able to do is, because this guy has gained a star of experience, I should be able to upgrade him to an 11 in terms of his overstrength capability. And I'm going to reinforce that guy. All right, everything else looks good. If you have an airfield with a supply hex like that, like this one, you can also upgrade aircraft. But this aircraft does not have a full star yet. No, he doesn't. Who does? Does this BF-110C? No, he's barely got anything. He's barely got anything. Stuka? No, he doesn't have a full star yet either. So probably the strategic bomber will be the first one, but we'll see. Or one of the fast learners. Yeah, he doesn't have a full one yet. All right. Let's go from here. Let's finish this sucker off. He's going to attack my cavalry, which you would expect. I'm going to move my infantry in there. I'm going to hit him with this artillery. I'm going to hit him with this artillery. And I'm going to wait just to make the pain a little longer. So the cavalry I'm going to reinforce. And I'm going to move my grenadier in here. And next turn will be his last. I will have achieved my goals. All right, let's see if we can do this. Let's go over to this tank unit. This is my Panzer 3G. This is the special prototype unit that I got, which has been really, really good for me. And this little double chevron thing is the upgrade button. I'm going to hit the upgrade button. It says I can upgrade. Now I can upgrade to any of the other tank units that are out there. None of them are as good as my Panzer 3G, however. But one thing I can also do is to, when I hit upgrade, is I can overstrength him to 11. And because he's got a star experience, so he's got an 11. That means that with his star, his strength can now be maximized at 11. And I could actually make it 15 if I wanted to, but I'm not going to do that. So there we go. That is now my Pride and Joy tank unit. If I get a tank killer hero, it's going to go to that unit right now. I can tell you that. And I don't know how many units I got. I think I used 3 reinforcements on that, and I think it will cost me 1 more. So I had 10, I had 20 total. So I'm down to a few. I can't use him for a whole lot longer. Probably 1 more mission after this. Okay, let's do an end. He's going to attack my cavalry again. I'm going to bomb him with my heavy bomber again. And let's let this infantry get some experience. I will have him attack and take that unit. And the Bug River, that town, the Bug River scenario is over. Okay, I would like to thank you guys for being here. I want to get my overlay thing going so I can end this video. And thank you for being here. We'll be back for the next mission. I think we move on to Norway now, which is sad. Because there's a bunch of other missions in Poland, but those are all in the Axis operation add-ons, and they're different missions than these. But this is 4 major battles now we fought in Poland. I've got 2 Panzer Corps coming together. I've got the Erwin Von Butcherstein one, and I've got the Erwin Von Butcherstein one. And this was Erwin, and he's very successful moving his panzers across the open terrain, which will come in handy in France and Russia, but not necessarily, and Africa for that matter, but not necessarily in Norway, which is the next scenario. Okay, thanks for being here, appreciate it, and I am going to end this recording. Bye.